Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed. And my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey?
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Well, Trump's base is completely divided right now over the Jeffrey Epstein files. We got the super hardcores and, some of the people you think are more rational, like Charlie Kirk and some others, that are all about, I don't really care about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff anymore. Said, I'm just sick of talking about it. And then you got the other half of his base being like, no, we want those files. But it's like what I was talking about before. I think that there's either stuff in there, there's either no smoking gun, like with the JFK files. Like there's not just one document that goes, aha, it was the government all along. It could be like that. It could be one of those situations. I mean, think about that. The JFK stuff got released like months ago now, or at least a month or so ago now, and we haven't heard anything about it. There's been nobody like doing anything saying, hey, look, we found it. We found that one piece of evidence that shows that he was assassinated or there was somebody else on the grassy knoll. There's nothing like that. Maybe it's the same thing with the Jeffrey Epstein thing, or two, what the other theory that I came up with, it's they have so much spicy material on there that they don't want to give it up. Because once you surrender that stuff or make it public, you can't blackmail these people anymore. I mean, we know the prince was there, and hey, just let the prince go. Like, he's allowed to, fly wherever he wants now. So maybe some very big deals were made to, hide this stuff up. We don't know. We might not ever know. I hope that we get some more stuff released on this. But, I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell's already talking about, she's, starting to name names. So, what's going on? Questions that we want answers to, that we all want answers to. And that's the big story today, is Trump's base is divided, which goes to show you that conservatives or Republicans are not exactly all in a complete big thought in the same bubble like liberals are. Like liberals are all, lockstep together when it comes to anything that goes on in politics, whereas conservatives are literally like, hey, we don't like this. This just goes to show you that there is more freedom of movement on the conservative side of the political spectrum, because you're allowed to still think, yeah, let's not care about Epstein anymore. Let's just listen to Trump. And then there's the people who are like, no, we still really care about this. This is important stuff. Whereas the liberals would be like, this is just a distraction. Why would we talk about this? Only right-wing conservatives would bring up this conspiracy theory stuff. And we all know that this is true. So, I mean, and this is the other point that people have been brought up for years, is the liberals, the more liberal commentators are still like, why hasn't Trump dropped it? Why hasn't Trump dropped it? And why didn't your president drop it? You had Obama, you had Biden. Why did none of them drop this stuff either? So, questions to answer. If your guys are so morally, sanctimonious, why didn't any of your presidents drop this information either? So, I mean, with the whole thing with the Biden scandal, if he did not sign any of those pardons besides Hunter Biden's, I mean, there's a lot of questionable things that's been going on in the Biden administration again. So we're going to get into this today, and we're going to start with this article that we have here from Newsweek. Trump gets ratioed on Truth Social for first time amid Epstein backlash. President Donald Trump this weekend posted defending Attorney General Pam Bondi's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files has triggered an unprecedented backlash, marking the first time the Republican has been ratioed on his own social media platform, Truth. The term ratioed refers to when a social media post receives more replies than likes or shares, often signaling a disagreement or criticism of support. Yeah, that is what ratioed means. It's like, if you get a bunch of likes, if you get more likes than you get comments, you're like, okay, must be doing good. But if you get more comments than likes, it means people really dislike it. They're like, hey, we don't like this. This is why I miss the dislike feature on like all social media. I mean, YouTube used to have the thumbs down button for videos, and they got rid of that because of all the hate that some of the movie reviews were getting. And it was literally left-wing critics being like, we know how to review movies, but these poor plebs on YouTube and the internet don't know how to review things. Like, you know, sometimes there are bot attacks, but not all. There's not that many bot attacks. This Saturday evening post, Trump lashed out at those criticizing Bondi, calling her performance fantastic and dismissing the ongoing interest in Epstein as a waste of time. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't understand what's happening, the president wrote. Let's not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Well, considering that he's been a huge person and abuser of women and children, it's kind of important to us because, I mean, that's the whole point of what's going on right now with the big issue with the drug smugglers and the cartels smuggling people across the Rio Grande right now. Is like, they're trafficking children, and they're clearly exploiting these children as either slave labor or as, you know, abusing these children sexually. So, and this is the issue. I mean, with that whole raid that happened in California, that weed farm, they found several children working there. So Democrats are literally culpable in child slavery at this point. Because Gavin Newsom's like, how dare you break up these families? And it's like, dude, it's child slavery. They have child slave labor going on right now because those kids aren't going to be allowed to leave. Think that those kids are like, well, do you want to be here doing this? Like, if they don't know any better, they might say yes, but that's not what's supposed to be going on right now. The Post's lengthy defense of the directed at his own base appears to have backfired. According to the public engagement data archive from Truth Social, the Post has garnered more than 36,000 replies compared with the only 1,000 retruths, the platform term for shares, and 32,000 likes as of 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday. The backlash on Truth Social reflects a growing internal division among the MAGA supporters, many of whom spent months anticipating the revelation of the so-called Epstein files. Unlike the mainstream media, social media platforms, Truth Social was designed as a haven for Trump and his supporters, whereas engagement is overwhelmingly leans positive. The rift appeared to stem from growing frustration over the unfulfilled promises related to the Epstein case. Trump and several of his allies have suggested that the secret documents include a so-called client list that would be released under his administration. Pam Bondi previously claimed to have such a list in her possession. But last week, the Justice Department announced that no list exists, reaffirmed that the Epstein acted alone by dying of suicide in 2019. An anticlimactic conclusion of the administration's refusal to release further files sparked fury from parts of Trump's base, especially activists and influencers who have built expectations around the broader revelations. At Turning Point USA Summit in Tampa this last week, chanting calling for Bondi's resignations could be heard. Trump's post defending her appears to be a direct response to that dissent, but only has fueled it further. The user on Mother Rose wrote, the statement breaks my heart. Mr. President, I have 4 daughters and live in Texas, where families lost little children. I can't even begin to comprehend the flipped narrative that was so long ago. Why are we still talking about this? Nobody should care. These victims were someone's daughters, nieces, sisters, granddaughters, someone's child. Please reconsider, sir. I voted for everything you are doing. Accountability was not something negotiable. Another woman, Chrissy, who can be seen wearing a Trump supporter beanie in her influencer picture. We wanted the elite pedophiles exposed. You promised us that. Pam promised us that. Cash promised us that. Now it's our fault because we want the promises fulfilled and call Pam out every time she lies. What else has she lied to us about? A third user, Dwellin Sykes, said, "This is going to cost you so many supporters, I being one of them." Now, again, I don't think it's going to cost him. This is going to cost him some supporters. But if you go through all the things that he's doing, still agree with it. The deportations, like lowering taxes, the tariffs, everything else is going great. He's unfulfilled one promise. He can't do everything that you want. No president can. But like that's what I'm saying. It's like either the two things that I say again. There's either no smoking gun when it comes to the files that we have on Jeffrey Epstein, just like there wasn't with JFK, just like there's probably not with MLK, and all these other things being released, or this stuff is so hot that they don't want to turn it over because it's implicating too many foreign nationals, business moguls. Who knows? We don't know. I mean, the prince for sure, the Prince of England for sure. But we'll get back to this. There will still be some backlash, some speaking out in support of Trump in comments, including the Navy veteran known as Robert F., who said, "We all want to know, but President Trump only has evidence that these criminals left for him to find. If he gets his hands on anything that's useful, we will know." And that's true, too. What evidence was destroyed? Remember, they refused to turn over documents for the longest time. The FBI was hiding and keeping documents away from Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. So the question is, was some of that stuff destroyed? Maybe. We don't know. We'll probably never know. So the stuff that we have is the only stuff that we can get is the stuff that the FBI willingly turned over and possibly didn't destroy. And two, it's like, is some of this stuff so covert black ops that it's all blacked out anyway, and it was like burn after reading, the old Mission Impossible stuff. This note will self-destruct, or this message will self-destruct in 30 seconds, or whatever. The data comes from open source GitHub, reported with scraps that the stores all in Trump's True Social posts, along with public metrics including reply count, like count, retweets, using the data set, which includes over 1,000 posts since 2002. Newsweek applied for the filter to identify any posts that were replies exceed both likes and shares. Only one post met that condition, and that was July 12th, 2025, post defending Pam Bondi. The other posts in the archives occasionally drew large number of volumes, but in every case until now, likes or retweets outnumbered them. This post represents the first and so far only time Trump has publicly been rebuked by his own followers than supported him. And again, remember that we know something's going on because Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are not happy with the way that Pam Bondi is doing things. Jan Bongino's like, he's threatened to resign. So what's going on? Maybe something is going on where they're hiding stuff. We don't know. There's just a lot of either miscommunication going on, or there is some type of hiding, information going on right now. What people are saying, and FBI Director Kash Patel wrote on X Saturday afternoon, "This conspiracy theories aren't true. Never have been. It's an honor to have served the President of the United States, @real Donald Trump, and I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me." Far-right political activist Laura Loomer on Saturday wrote on X, "President Trump says he thinks Pam Bondi is doing a fantastic job as AG," in a post that he posted to True Social today. Charlie Kirk, conservative founder and president of Turning Point USA, wrote on X, "Trump on the Epstein files says he supports Pam Bondi as AG, and the files are untrustworthy, created by Comey and Brennan. He wants his Justice Department focused on voter fraud and the rigged elections, Act Blue, and arresting thugs and criminals." While Trump in his Truth Social post tried to shift focus away from the Epstein controversy, his followers seem unconvinced. The administration now faces a challenge of reuniting a fractured base ahead of its 2026 midterm elections. So again, this is what we're talking about. said fairness meter, unfair, left leaning. See, look at that. I like that. But again, I think this is a pretty good article, actually. And it's true, like I said, but this shows that Trump's base is not a monolith. It's not, they all don't just follow in lockstep like the Democrats do with their presidents, like with Obama and Biden. So that's what is going on. I have the True Social post right here. I'll just go ahead and read it for those of you who aren't able to see. Okay. From Donald Trump, at Real Donald Trump, from his True Social. What's going on with my boys and in some cases gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're all on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration. The talk of the world and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving this publicity to a files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, and Brennan, and losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agencies, laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files just like they created a fake Hillary Clinton and / Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing it right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If it was anything there, it could have hurt the MAGA movement. Why didn't they use it? Why they haven't even given up the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King files. No matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any administration has achieved in 100 years, and we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating on voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at a nothing but the same old radical left inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen. They have tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what is looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah. People are still upset about this. And people have the right to be upset about this. I mean, it's a massive child abuse scandal that could possibly implicate, again, business moguls, foreign politicians and royalty, and politicians here on the state, and celebrities. That's why it's a big deal. But again, what he said right there is, I mean, other than ignoring the Epstein stuff, all that stuff's true. He has done so much in these past 6 months. So much. And if you're going to like completely want to get rid of the president because of one little promise that he can't fulfill when he's fulfilling so many other ones, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want the Epstein files to be released. But again, it's the smoking gun situation. Like, do these documents that they have, is there actually a smoking gun in there, or is it just a bunch of paperwork? Again, like with the JFK files, there's probably nothing in there that's gonna be like, aha, we got him now. Or maybe again, well, my other option is it so damning to the current world order that we have right now with business moguls, royalty, politicians overseas, here and abroad, that it would just like completely destroy the world? We don't know. Maybe we'll never know, but I would love to see that. But this is the issues that we're having right now. But again, I think that this is a good thing because this goes to show you that the Trump base or the Trump supporters are not all in lockstep. Like when he does something that they don't like, we will let him know. Whereas the left is not like that. The left is like, no, he's still better than, everybody else. Like I said, we can't let super mega Hitler in there. Like I said, that's the left. The left will do anything that they can to stop the other person. And again, from that video that I showed yesterday, where it showed that graph of like after Trump's election or the 2016 election cycle, Democrats' patriotism goes down, skyrockets down. And then Biden gets elected, gets back in there, goes back up. Then Trump comes back in, right back down. So liberals are the ones that have to have their people in power to be proud of their country, which is kind of a sad situation that we're living in. But that's really about it on that. I'll go ahead and pull up some memes that are related to today. So let's pull back up this. Where did it go? There they are. Aha. All right. So we'll start with the Epstein one right here. The FBI can tell you the name of every January 6th conspirator, but not a single name from the Jeffrey Epstein client list. Sad but true. Sad but true. Let me fix that a little bit. There we go. But yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous that they can tell you all that information. They knew everybody was there. People who didn't even go into the building, they can tell you who was there, what they were doing, all that stuff. And they arrested all these people. But people who visited Jeffrey Epstein's island, nope, don't know nothing. Can't see. Nothing to see here. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, let's go through here. Oh, yeah. Let's just talk about more liberal or democratic hypocrisy. You liberal Democrats think ICE is an authoritarian? This was Gavin Newsom's Gestapo tyrant, California, during COVID, harassing and arresting people for no crimes and no laws broken. Yeah, people going to the beach and basically police officers in SWAT uniforms with masks on going out and telling them to get lost and arresting people for it. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Democrat logic again. Let me get rid of that. Peaceful protesters burning down and rioting. Hateful violent crimes. Someone peeling out on a painted crossing walk on a road. One of these things deserves jail time. The other one's like, how dare you? Those people are just protesting and using their voice to protest against the president. Yeah, the old CNN, fiery but peaceful protests as buildings are burning behind them. This is the problem with the Democrats. You'll support this, say that this is valid, but this right here, lock them up. Lock them up. How dare they? How dare they do something like that against one of the protected classes of the LGBTQ groups or whatever. Oh, yeah, this is good. Caitlin Clark. The new WNBA video game adds an option to shiv Caitlin Clark. Yeah, she has been getting, like, really bullied in the WNBA from other players. It is crazy. Every time I turn around, there's some new clip of her being, like, punched, pushed, body checked, whatever. And it's insane how much they dislike this girl. It's crazy. Ah, yes. New York voters be like, ooh, The Handmaid's Tale. But then they're about to elect a Islamic mayor that completely approves Sharia law. And, yeah, I was like, The Handmaid's Tale is real. It's called Islam. Like, the difference is it's liberal commentators that try to change it to where it's like, oh, this is what Christian conservatives would be like if they get into power. And it's like, they're going to put you in a bonnet and a robe, a red robe. And like, well, all you have to do is look at the Middle East and you can see women who have to wear burqas and head covers. And that's basically what it is. It's like, they just arrive at the wrong conclusion of which religion will do this to you. It's not Christianity. The only people who wear like designated clothes in Christianity are nuns, Catholic nuns. And two, they don't have to wear that stuff all the time. I've been to places, I've seen priests, they wear workout clothes. They don't wear their priest uniform at all times. The same with nuns. It's absolutely insane that this is what the left thinks about Christian conservatives. This is what their thoughts of Christian conservatives are. Absolutely insane. And then the last one we have is a little bit of Oklahoma news right here, and it's about from Libs of TikTok. Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters launches America First teacher screening assessment to filter out teachers with woke agendas. Oklahoma schools will not be a haven for woke agendas. We are raising a generation of patriots, not activists. Ryan Walters. And I agree with this. I've told you this. Teachers are activists now. They don't make teachers to be teachers. Teachers are activists now. And they teach their kids to be activists. It's absolutely insane. Like everybody, again, there are four types of people who become teachers. The people who wanted to be teachers their whole life. There's the people who sucked at every other major in college, so they switched to teaching. Then there's the activist class. The people who got into teaching because they're activists and they want to teach their values to other people. Or be groomers. That's what this is. They're activists disguised as teachers trying to indoctrinate and brainwash your children. But we'll check this little video out real quick.
Superintendent Ryan Walters says the new initiative is about keeping what he calls divisive ideologies out of Oklahoma classrooms. The State Department of Education is partnering with PragerU to create a new assessment for teachers who are relocating from states with what Walters calls progressive education policies. Superintendent Walters says the goal is to make sure educators align with Oklahoma's vision of an America First education. The assessment will test teachers on things like the Constitution, American exceptionalism, and biological differences between boys and girls. In a statement, Walters says, "We're sending a clear message. Oklahoma's schools will not be a haven for woke agendas pushed in places like California and New York. We're raising a generation of patriots, not activists." Walters says the state will finalize the assessment with PragerU over the next few weeks, and once it's ready, it'll be implemented immediately.
My hero? I really can't say, but yes.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. American exceptionalism, the Constitution, which we don't even teach the Constitution in schools anymore. We don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance in schools anymore, for Christ's sakes. And again, the biological, like teaching biology, like separation of two genders, that is literally the best part, is because that'll get rid of all these LGBTQ activists that are there to be like, there's no such thing as gender, or you can be whatever gender you want to be. Those are the people trying to indoctrinate your children. And it's like what we talked about. Is like if they have clothing, like if it's a guy that has dresses and stuff in their closet for little boys or little girls or whatever, that's kind of weird. Same thing if letting them change clothes in their classroom is weird. Why would you do that? I mean, call the parents. Something goes wrong, like they make a mess on themselves or whatever. Call their parents. Bring them a change of clothes. Send them home. Why are you giving them clothes that you have? Why do you have children's clothes in your closet? Especially if you don't have kids or a family. That was the big deal with that one guy in Owasso that had just clothes to let kids change into dresses or whatever. That's weird. That is weird. But that's really about it. All I have for today. Just wanted to touch on the fact that Trump's base is divided over the Epstein files right now. And I just thought that was a really interesting topic today, and goes to show you that, again, the right is not in lockstep like the left is. Like the right will call Trump out when he does something that we don't like, whereas the left does not do that for their leaders. So that's really all I've got for today. This was Chad with Owasso Live. This was The Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's really all I've got for today. So I guess I will catch you all in the next one. God bless you, and I'll see you later, everybody.
So Trump comes out yesterday and he's like, we're still talking about this creep. We're talking about Epstein. I don't like this. And let me tell you why I don't like it, Steve. Suddenly, the enemies of Donald Trump are silent. Why aren't Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and those guys, why aren't they saying anything about it? Why aren't they publicly posting anything on X? They're not doing anything. And suddenly Trump is not, they're not trying to kill him.
They should be coming at him from the aspect, look, he's trying to sweep it under the rug. What has he got to hide? And they're not.
They should be. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, after Elon Musk posted the thing about Trump being on the list, the Harry Sissons and the Krasensteins, the Democrats were suddenly saying, release the list. We literally had Democrats begging for the list. And now nothing? And they're not trying to kill the man anymore. That concerns me because it tells me there's something going on that Donald Trump is no longer a threat to them. You're either here for the truth or you're not. I'm not here to blow smoke up your blouse. I'm not here to do that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If your enemies are suddenly agreeing with you, there ought to be a pause and say why. If I'm no longer going against the flow, if I'm not catching friction, then that means I've embraced the status quo, and it could be that the swamp finally got me. I hope that's not true. So Trump